So hello, beautiful tribe, and welcome to Magic Month of July. I would be very grateful to those of you listening live if you can use the chat box and let me know that you can hear and that see and that the technology is working correctly. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kahreela and I am from the Starlight Temple, and I'm glad it is all working and lovely to see so many of you that I know listening live. If you haven't listened to Magic Month before, then it is a energy forecast show for the month ahead that gives you insight into the astrology and the cycles of nature and energy, so that you can use the information to work with the energies and cosmic alignments and have the most aligned and flowful month with what is happening in the kind of currents of the energy. And I am very excited about Magic Month of July after our incredible stormy eclipse window, mighty June. July feels very, very peaceful and gentle and easier. And so I'm very, very excited about the forecast. On the forecast, I will be giving you guidance and channeled guidance and insights. We're also going to do two really beautiful meditations that my guides at channel have told me to include to help you prepare for July. I also really love my webinars to be co-creative. So please, if you are listening live, use the chat box to share, to bring your own guidance through, to ask questions, and to co-create this webinar with me. And so when you are ready, closing your eyes and feeling the muscles around your eyes relaxing as you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Feeling a column of light from the center of the universe pouring down into your energy field, instantly raising your vibration as this light travels down through you into the heart of Great Mother Gaia and bounces off the heart of Great Mother Gaia and travels back up into the heart of Source. Feel yourself held in a two-way flow of love and light. And in this two-way flow of love and light, allow your energy body to stretch out in all directions around you as it is sealed from top to bottom in white and golden light. Know that only love and light can enter into your energy. And a foot away from the edge of your auric body, feel the rose gold, bronze, violet, pink, blue, and green flames wrapping around your aura so that any energy released from any direction can be instantly transmuted into love and light and sent wherever it is in the highest good for it to go. As you open your heart to Mother Earth, feel a grounding cord from your belly going down through all the different layers of the earth, into the heart of the Great Mother. And she brings you into divine alignment for all that you are meant to release, and all that you are meant to receive, and all that you are meant to become from this webinar transmission. And as you come into alignment, feel your chakric system opening so that light flows through your core. And as your chakras spin open, feel your energetic strands of DNA reconnecting you to who you truly are, right here, right now. As you feel the male, female, unity and stillness parts of your heart melting together so that you come into the experience of the one heart. Feel your heart beating with the heartbeat of the earth, beating with the heartbeat of Source, beating with all hearts on earth and all hearts in spirit. And as you open your heart to this webinar, trusting that it is exactly what you are meant to be doing at this moment in your soul's evolution journey. And as you open your heart to those that you are sharing this webinar with, feel all of these humankind hearts opening to you so that you come into energetic circle, so that you are welcomed as you are in your wholeness. And allow yourself to be flooded with the medicine of human kindness. And opening your heart and asking, why am I here? And letting the answer come to you in words, in pictures, in knowing, in sensation. As you feel Mary Magdalene's energy in folds of rose golden light beaming around you now. Invite yourself to soften into this sacred feminine love that is overlighting. And as you soften, feel the frequency the light, sound, vibration of the rose streaming into your aura, helping you to reconnect to the gentleness of your love. And as you connect to your own gentleness, notice the waves of this rose frequency happening in your energy body, in your physical body, and in your emotional body. Helping you to tune out of where you have been and into the beauty that is happening now. And as you tune into the beauty that is happening now, feel your vibration being given permission to soften, so that the light in your aura becomes soft. Feel the sigh of softness happening through the muscles and tensions within your body, so that you sigh out of any stress that has happened today. Feeling your mind filling with the sweet hum of this rose. Frequency so that it opens to the delicacy of life. Feeling yourself letting go as Mary Magdalene sings the song of the rose into your chakras. So that you melt into the patience and knowing and redemption of your self-love. And opening up in wonder through this love that has been awaiting you. And Mary Magdalene is assisting in reconnecting you to in this frequency softening transmission. Notice how within this love there is a knowing that can serve you in this time of great change. And listen to what that knowing is. As you feel the softness of rose petals falling through you, and you allow yourself to be in blessedness. Knowing that this frequency of the rose, Magdalene reconnection, will be happening throughout the duration of this webinar, helping the inner wisdoms of self-love to reveal themselves to you, and supporting your vibration and softly arriving into July. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. And when you are ready, opening your eyes and coming into the room. And so I invite you all to really gift yourself this webinar, to stay for the duration and receive the energetic transmission in its fullness. And when you are ready, sharing in the chat box about how you are feeling, what you are experiencing. I'm feeling very gentle and almost like my body's just absorbing all this rose frequency and softness. And from the energetic impression, I'm just like, sigh into July. Softening, according to my guide, is really key for July, and beautiful. You're feeling inspired and that your headache cleared. And I agree, the rose energy and the Magdalene energy there too. Such amazing energy. And I'm glad you're feeling held and that you got what you needed from the opening of this. And see if you can soften through that headache. Like I said, my guides keep saying July, softening, softening, rebirthing, softening. And yeah, it is a new beginning in July. I'm going to talk more about why. Beautiful that you connected to your mum's spirit, because really July is very connected to the feminine and goddess energies and maternal lines. And I'm glad you're feeling grounded, Bonnie. That's beautiful. And yeah, there's a lot of clearing happening the last few days. And I'm glad you felt love straight away. And that you're feeling the mind, body and soul sponge thing I'm feeling. And at 2022, we are going to begin the forecast, which made me smile because, like I said, July is all about the feminine energies every year. And 222 is my personal kind of feminine number. So July in general is about arrival. And the way to arrive is to soften. So the eclipse window that we are still in at the moment, the June eclipse and the June energies were just like purge, old Akashic. Old eclipse is always for the purge of the shadow and the things that are in the way. And it's very churny and very stormy. And this particular eclipse also had a lot of energies that were also downloading. And it's like we've been in this washing machine and how in June, and I feel like the best way to describe July when I tune in is like the clothes being taken out of the washing machine and hung up to flap and dry in the sun and the breeze and just arrive into all of that inner energetic Akashic change that has happened. And on top of that, July is always about rebirth. And so in this month, this year, it's about rebirth through softening. We've also got a lot of planets in retrograde, which is also common in July, but there's some really quite big name planets in retrograde. And so when a planet is in retrograde, basically what it means, it appears to us as if the planet is moving in the opposite direction from the way it normally moves. Now, after doing Magic Month 4 years, I have come to really understand in my kind of language of it that just as the moon affects the currents of the ocean, all of the planets in the solar system affect different currents of our consciousness, and different planets are connected to different currents. When a planet is in retrograde, those currents go inwards. And so it is about us turning inwards on that current of consciousness. And in July, we have Pluto, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, Chiron, Mercury, all in retrograde. I personally count Chiron as a planet because I think Chiron is really, really important in terms of our personal healing. And so that's a lot of planets in retrograde. And so when there are a lot of planets in retrograde, it's like turning to the wisdom and the magic and the healing of the night rather than the day, or the feminine rather than the outer masculine. And that is the way to make the most of a month. Now, Pluto affects our shadow and subconscious, Jupiter, our path and our abundance, Neptune, our dream and our vision, and Saturn, our law, order, and karma. Chiron is the wounded healer that to me represents the human journey. So the journey we are on as humans. And Mercury is about communication and travel, and so and technology. And so with all of those planets in retrograde, for at least part of the month that all of them are in retrograde, we really are being guided by the skies to at least spend some of the month in self-inquiry, turning inwards, and allowing these currents to get reordered by our inner work, our inner meditation, our inner healing, and so forth. On the 1st of July, Saturn, which is already in retrograde, leaves Aquarius and returns to the sign of Capricorn. And so when they're in, when the planets are in a sign, that also has an impact on the kind of currents that they're pulling, if that makes sense, of our consciousness. And you know, Saturn this year, those of you that have watched Magic Month will know that Saturn is a really, really big force this year. It's really having an impact because Saturn is law, order, and karma. And, you know, we're seeing it on the collective level. Saturn's movement, Saturn's meeting with other planets. Saturn is really pulling and shaking our collective law, order, and karma around. Karma, according to my guides, is not as scary as it sounds. It's about where you're out of alignment. So it's about where you're out of alignment with the truth of yourself, and how karma is actually the journey of getting back into alignment. And Saturn, so Saturn is going to be in Capricorn until the 17th of December, and then it heads fully into Aquarius for a much longer time. And so Saturn, so this kind of, what happens with the planets is the bigger planets, they sometimes go into a sign and then they move out of the sign back into the old sign they were in. And it's almost like an interval, or how I see it is like the preview of the movie, you know, in the cinema. And so what Saturn's been bringing up in Aquarius, basically the first half of this year, we can expect more of that kind of breakdown of the system, questioning law, order, realignment, all of that. But Saturn was in Capricorn before it went into Aquarius since 2017, and it then left Capricorn to go into Aquarius on March 21st, which was, of course, hugely, it was actually the day that the UK went into lockdown. And so this now move back into Capricorn, especially in retrograde, it's the arrival of all of those lessons, all of those realignments that happened since December 2017, and that kind of healing, realignment journey you're on. It is the becoming them within yourself for this final retrograde, so that you're fully ready to move in to the Aquarius Saturn journey next year. And I really feel that isn't just happening with Saturn. I feel that this second eclipse period, so the eclipse that's just about to complete up until December 14th, is really like a revisit of the old reality, the old world that we had, and a real like, okay, what am I taking from this and what am I not taking from this into my future, and what do I want to embody as wisdom, and what do I want to let go of. And I really feel that there is a sense of completion for the rest of 2020 in terms of completion in order to ascend. And then what we have is on the 4th or 5th, depending on where you are in the world, we have the full moon lunar eclipse. And those of you that watched, and this eclipse is very rare and very significant, and those of you that watched June's Magic Month will know that normally there's two, sometimes there's more, but normally in an eclipse window, you have a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. This eclipse window that we're still in had a lunar eclipse, then a solar eclipse on the solstice, and then has a third lunar eclipse on the 4th and 5th of July. And this eclipses for me are always the most powerful time for transformation and self-work and healing. And they are very stormy and very challenging, but very transformative if you work with them. And this eclipse did the first half of it, did this absolute purge of the old Piscean, Akashic and Karma. And this second half of it that we're in now is doing this absolute download of new Akashic, new Dharma, new vibrations. But a bit like being in a washing machine and the clean happening and then the fabric softener coming in. We're still very much in that washing machine process. I think you will feel a shift on the 30th, because on the 30th there is a meeting of Jupiter and Pluto, and that feels like a kind of pre-eclipse end gateway. And so from the 30th to the 4th and 5th, there's going to be more of a sense of harmonization, which can also be helped by softening. It can also be helped by softening. And I don't think you'll truly feel the July energies until we're out of the eclipse. I imagine around the eclipse there will be a final kind of spin, like the washing machine, does the final fast spin. So I can imagine another storm. In fact, that film Moon in American Indian is known as the Thunderstorm Moon anyway. So with an eclipse on top of it, which, like I said, are always about purging and releasing the old and marking they are portals, eclipse windows. And if you enter the portal to a degree unconsciously, but if you do it consciously, you can release so much and not take it in to the next journey that comes after the eclipse. Because this eclipse this eclipse window has been so about potential and so about ascension, and so much has been happening on the collective consciousness energetically. It is, I would say, a really important date to honor some way, to honor the gateway of like, what are you not taking through, either by being in ceremony or doing some kind of personal ceremony or personal meditation. But it's been, of all my years of working and doing lots of healing work in eclipse windows, I don't think I've ever known one as potent as the one that we've just been in terms of collective and personal healing. And I think what you will find if you work with the energies and go, okay, I'm in the final spin, any drama happening in my life, I'm just going to release it out. I'm going to be in my power. I'm going to expand through it. I'm also going to soften through it. I think you will find that a lot of cleansing, transformation, balance and harmony gets restored if you work with that eclipse gateway energy. And so I'm glad you like the analogy. And yeah, I agree, so potent. And so then on the 11th, Chiron moves from direct into retrograde, and Chiron's retrograding in Aries. Now, I love Chiron. I think we don't pay enough attention to Chiron because Chiron represents the wounded healer, and all humans are wounded healers. And so Chiron really represents the kind of humanness of ourselves, to me anyway. And when Chiron's in retrograde, again, it means that it's a powerful time to turn your healing inwards. It's really important that even if you are a healer, that during Chiron retrograde, you're also going and being healed. You're also going and being held. You're being supported. You're being in ceremony. When Chiron's in Aries, what's brought up is the wounds of identity. And so, and my feeling is that with everything else that's going on, these wounds, I mean, look at the collective consciousness right now, and we see the wounds of identity happening everywhere. In terms of what we identify with, you know, we're really facing on so many levels traditions, identities. It's also the winds of kind of how you appear to the outer world. So this mass social media identity, it can manifest in lots of forms. But my feeling is that based in what is going on with all of this Capricorn energy, is that actually the wounds of identity that we might be facing this Chiron retrograde are more about the identities that don't serve your path. So the identities that are connected to your work, that are connected to your home, that are connected to your family, that are connected to tradition. One of the things that my guides are saying to me right now is something they said to me earlier on in a webinar that I was running for a course, which is that at some point we have to stop trusting the past more than we trust the future. And, you know, as a collective, we hold on a lot to tradition, to the way things were, to the past. On a personal level, we are also about to go on a massive journey of letting go of societies that we once had, and ways, and also even the kind of gifts. You know, if you hold on to the healer you were 2 years ago, how can you be the healer and light worker that you could be now? How is all this potential that has been downloading to you in this eclipse window gonna come in if you don't let go of the identities that you have around your path? Excuse me, because I am not an astrologer, and I don't know if I am pronouncing the name right, but there is another asteroid called Ceres, which is basically, I know that goddess, and it's the goddess of the half. I know her as Vesta. And that is going into retrograde, literally the day next to Chiron's retrograde. And so I really think we're also going to be looking at wounds of family attachment, identity to family, identity to home, what home is, what it means to nurture ourselves. And so, yeah, there's this compatibility, what I feel, with Chiron and Ceres in this particular retrograde season, which also connects so much to the goddess energies. And then on the 12th, Mercury is coming out of retrograde, and going direct. And I think, Mercury retrograde is about communication and travel, and whenever Mercury is in retrograde, everything is a little bit more technically complicated and chaotic in the outer world because you're meant to be connecting inwards. And when Mercury goes direct, there tends to be like, clarity, okay. And I think that when Mercury goes direct, that's when we're really going to feel the arrival of the July energies, the arrival of those future potential energies, the understanding of what this eclipse window was doing. And we're going to start to really go into the rebirth that July holds for us. And yeah, like you say, thank you for bringing that in, Lauren. Yeah, exactly. The birth canal. We are like from the eclipse. I would say we're kind of in that birth canal, probably from even before, probably from the 30th with the Jupiter-Pluto meeting. We're in a birthing canal, and in fact, my guides have just corrected me. It wasn't even, we're already in it from the solstice, from the eclipse and the solstice. So we're in a birthing canal. And these portals are the kind of contractions of that birthing canal. And so thank you very much for that. And thank you as well, Lauren, because the new moon is in Cancer. And the new moon was in Cancer on the solstice. So lots of stuff about home and family. What my guides were saying, the eclipse window's healing is DNA. And this is why on the collective consciousness, all this historical stuff is coming up into conversation. And so these themes around home, being at home with yourself, being true to yourself, letting go of tradition, family identity that you've inherited. I mean, my main work is about shadow work, which is working with the deep subconscious. And I cannot tell you how many people are affected. Everybody is on the subconscious level by what they have inherited from their family identities that aren't even true to them, And so it really is about working with Chiron to let go of those identities that don't serve us. Of course, work with the wisdoms and the good things, but also letting go, like I said, of trusting the past more than we trust the future, because that is how we are going to go over the edge or lift off, so to speak, into our own ascension. And then what we have, sorry, my guides have just said, double check about the Ceres, the goddess of hearth, when she goes into retrograde. I just got a flash that might be wrong. But she definitely is in retrograde while Chiron's in retrograde, and there definitely is a magnetic interweaving of those two this time. But the exact date of when she goes into retrograde, double check it. And so, and yeah, clarity. I know a lot of clarity has opened up since the solstice, and I feel like there's going to be so much more in July. And then on the 20th is the new moon. And the new moon, it's in Cancer, and it's the second new moon in Cancer. And so the first one was on the solar eclipse. So if you imagine the portal between those two new moons is that kind of birthing canal. And the reason July, there's lots of reasons why July is always described by my guides as the feminine month of the year. It's because it's the start, mainly it's because it's the start of the lunar cycle, and the lunar, the moon controls the feminine. So it's the first new moon of the feminine year, if that makes sense. And so the birth energies in July, I mean, everything in July is kind of pollinating and birthing and becoming, and the inwards, all of the stuff that's been happening inwards, births out in plants. it's a very, very fertile month in nature. And it really kind of, everything in nature embodies and infuses with the feminine energies and the feminine medicines and the feminine ways. And it is the start, that whether you are male or female or unity, it is the start of the new feminine cycle. And so your feminine journey completes, and then it's reborn into its new cycle on the new moon. And this particular feminine cycle, this particular birthing, so important, because you know, last month we went into the beginning of a new 8-year Venus cycle, which my guides say is all about the crowned feminine. And so the new feminine is coming in. If you think of all of the kind of alignments of Chiron and so on, there's this real theme of the feminine and the return of the feminine ways. And we're really seeing and witnessing the purge of the shadow of the patriarchy at this time. And so the new moon is that birthing into the new feminine cycle. And it brings a lot of fresh energy. Like I said, I really feel like, my guide said something to me recently. They said, after the storm, there is clarity. And it's like, I feel like towards the end of July, after we're through that birthing canal, we're really going to be feeling the love of the mother, the love of the goddesses, the love of Mother Earth, the clarity of what it has all been for, the new path, codes being nurtured within us. It's very much a time, especially because of the retrogrades, to be feeding our foundation, to learning how to be more at home with ourselves, more in tune with the cycles of nature, to learning how to arrive, a bit like you have this crazy birth process when a baby is born, and then there is that kind of quiet time. It's just the baby and the mother learning to respond to each other. And I almost feel like that's the way to make the most out of the energies this month. My guides are saying there's loads of goddess energies coming into the collective this month, loads of the new crown feminine, and in order to receive them, we must receive them in the kind of feminine way, either through ceremony or through internal inquiry, through nurture and divine conversation. And this is whether you are male or female, or a unity being. And I kind of really feel like our receptivity is going to increase. I met someone who was pregnant this week, and she was telling me about how when a woman is breastfeeding, the breast picks up information from the saliva and then provides the right type of milk that is needed. So maybe more water if the baby's dehydrated, or different vitamins. And it's almost coming into that delicate responsivity of like, okay, so what's out of alignment in my life? And what do I need to call in? And all of that kind of thing. And the sun is also opposite Saturn on that new moon. And I just, Saturn's been doing this massive karmic purge. And I feel like the sun energy in July is really, really important, because it's connecting to that sovereign energy, that energy that one of the things my guides are saying about July is it's about learning to become consistent, so we don't get flung around so much. So we can be consistent in our thoughts, words, and actions, consistent in our truth. And that consistency is really streaming through the new moon if you open up and listen to it. That consistency. And the other thing is, a really good energy to connect to is innocence. My guides were talking today and they were saying that, you know, the thing that realigns karma and turns it into dharma, which is basically the kind of energy or the kind of high vibrational polarity energy of karma is dharma, which is that your path created you for it to fulfill itself. The thing that brings you back into alignment from your karma to your dharma is innocence. And so it really is about coming into that innocence of softening, that idea of being mother and baby to yourself, of birthing. And then another reason that the July is a time of the feminine is because Mary Magdalene's feast day is on the 22nd of July. And Mary Magdalene, in terms of energy and consciousness and goddessness, represents the feminine story, you know, the story of Mary Magdalene going from the feminine energy of Christ consciousness and the twin energy of Jeshua to being completely persecuted, made a prostitute, vanished, suppressed, and then being recognized again a few years ago as apostle, and the truth and her power starting to rise again in the collective consciousness. This story is the story of what the feminine has been through in the Piscean age. And so Mary Magdalene is really important for connecting to our own, that energy that you're feeling right now connects you to your own feminine and to your own feminine in transcendence and your own feminine rising. And so I feel like the feast day is aligned with this birthing of the next evolution of the feminine. Like I said, whether you are male or female or unity, this isn't about your body or anything like that. It's about your ability to receive. It's about your ability to work with the deep feminine ways and wisdoms. And I feel like that feast day, the 20th, again, 2, you know, that portal of the new moon and the Mary Magdalene feast day. And in fact, my guides are saying the feast day is a portal for the crown feminine to arrive in the collective consciousness. And so it's another good thing to mark, especially if you feel like you're on that journey of opening up to the feminine and also wanting to transcend the old feminine and harmonize into the crowned feminine. And the key is really softness. And then, the Sirius Gateway opens on the 23rd, and actually the Sirius Gateway is kind of the cosmic new year. And so you have the feminine new cycle beginning, and then you have the cosmic masculine cycle beginning and happening on the Lion's Gateway, which starts with the Sirius Gateway. So it is that total time of new cycling on a path level, on a massive level, of birthing into more of who you are going to be. And like I said, my guides say that really, yes, there's emotionality to this month because there's so many feminine energies, but it is about softening. It is about this feminine way of healing, which is ceremony. It is about nurturing. It is about working with this gentleness. And in terms of the collective level, you know, because we're kind of going out more into the world, if you're in the UK, the lockdown is easing, the world's kind of coming back a bit. If you want to bring all that lockdown has given you back out into the world, You've got to do it gently. You've got to do it through softness. You've got to do it by softening into it, you know. And that's how you really merge and bring all of the powers of lockdown into your life, as opposed to just going back, as opposed to, that's how we'll let this healing time change us and change the outer world, you know. My feeling is if everybody rushes in and doesn't embody those wisdoms that Gaia taught us through lockdown, it's like, in my experience, if you don't learn it, then it happens again, you know. And I do, regardless of anything else, I believe that things that happen here happen at the will of the great goddess, of Goddess Earth, of Mother Earth. And lockdown, regardless of any other layers of how it happened, why it happened, and so on, the will of Mother Earth, which she wanted the human collective to slow down. And if we go back out again and don't bring all of that slowing down, wisdom and healing into the outer, then we will be put on the naughty step again. It's like we have to learn the lessons and take them out into the world. And so I really invite you to take all of this information. It's really good to set intention on the 11th when Chiron goes into retrograde. Really good to be in ceremony on either the new moon, Mary Magdalene feast day, the eclipse, or all of them. And it's really good to every day be connecting to softness, be learning what softness is, and be working with the goddess energies. And every day, because there's so much retrograde, going in internally. So if you have any questions about that, that is the forecast. I feel like the end of the month is that very gentle mama and baby energy, and really about just learning the new self, learning to gently find out who you are and arriving after the birth. If you have any questions, do type them in, let me know. I'm going to pull a card of the month for us. And my guides want to do a special crowned feminine transmission with light language at the end of this. So do stay for that. The card I pulled for us is embracing, which is so perfect. And embracing, whenever I work with goddess energies, that's what it feels like, just this embrace. And actually the guides are saying to me, do ask for the embrace. This is a month of being, you arrive when you're held. You soften when you are held. Think of what happens when you get a hug. Do know that there are many goddesses around, many feminine energies around that will embrace you if you ask, but they're not going to do it without your permission. And so it is a month of learning to be held, I feel, and I will read that card for you. In terms of if you want to work with Starlight Temple, we have some really exciting events and things for all of this magic and rebirthing that is in July to help you with it. The first one, and so I'm going to put the office up and you can just click the link and they will open in another tab. But the first one, so you won't lose the webinar. First one is online fire and light chamber prayer ceremony for the Eclipse Gateway. This ceremony, like I have done so many fire ceremonies, and the guidance about this one, it's so about softening. It's so about clearing out that crazy washing machine and softening into new frequencies. And the medicines as frequencies that want to work are just beautiful. And I really think it's going to be one of those ones where you just come away gushing with how beautiful life is, and always a fire ceremony. I mean, the best way to end an eclipse window, in my opinion, because fire just transforms all that gunk that has been coming up. So healing, so powerful. And so that is online. It is by donation. You donate afterwards. So if you want to come along, you can click the link and find out more. I'll just see if anybody's asking anything in the chat box. And so we also have, starting on the 5th as well, so the eclipse is actually like early morning in the 5th. So both the fire ceremony and this are kind of from the gateway onwards, from the release out of the eclipse. And an inner discovery journey called Clarity. And basically this year, my guides told me that it was important that the human collective consciousness started to explore the wisdoms of winter, because we have been so obsessed with the themes of summer, like abundance and visibility and expansion. And they were like, what you need right now is not those themes. What you need right now is the themes of winter, like immunity and surrender and stillness and clarity. And literally, the 3 that we have done so far have been so life-changing for me. Like, they have just changed me at my core and given me so much freedom and wisdom and medicine and evolution and empowerment. And more than any of the other 3 we've done, I have had signs about clarity. Like, literally everywhere I've been looking, after the storm is clarity. Basically after the eclipse window, clarity needs to happen. And so I really think that those of you that are feeling washing machine from the eclipse window, clarity will help, because it's about coming into the clarity of what just happened. And that is also by donation. Also donate afterwards. And so again, you can click the link and find out more. And it will open in another tab. But I love the inner discovery journeys. They're also online. And so I'm glad that the forecast is making you excited about your canyon trip, Bonnie. That's great. And then for those of you that feel like you want to understand more and work with softness, I have been guided to run for the last part of that birthing, before we go into the new moon, the last part of the birthing canal, a wild rose medicine journey, which is where you make the medicine at home. You're given instructions. You can forage the roses, or you can also buy roses if you're not in a place to be able to forage them. And every day we're going to drink in temple ceremony online together. And there are kind of 8 channel transmissions that are about healing with the rose and learning to become more soft and more self-loving. And we'll be working with rose frequency and all sorts of other amazing channel tools to really make this drink medicine, and medicine of softness, and to help us embody and reclaim that feminine way of softness that has been so lost from our society. It's open to men, women, and priesty. And again, you can click the link and find out more. And so that starts on the 8th of July. And it feels, when I tune into it, just such a beautiful tantric unfolding of the heart. And again, so right in terms of balancing, going out into the world and bringing those lessons of lockdown forward into that going out into the world. And then the final thing that Starlight Temple is running in July, which we run every year and have done for years, which I am so grateful for, is the Call of the Magdalene. So that is a ceremonial journey. It is only for women and people who identify as being women. And it is a journey that is online. It is an 8-day ceremonial journey where you essentially are overlighted by Mary Magdalena, and you go on a rebirth journey through the birthing of the new feminine cycle. And there is healing ceremony, rebirth ceremony, all sorts of things. It is very beautiful. It's very much about finding your own inner Magdalena, so releasing the parts of that patriarchal story of the Magdalena energy, which is the sexual empowered priestess path energy of the feminine. Connecting to the parts of the story that you're still holding, that don't serve you, releasing them, but in a very gentle way. It's not like deep shadow work, it's like midwife. It's midwife birthing, and Mary Magdalena is your midwife. It's also about receiving and learning to receive and activate your path. And what I find amazing about the Call of the Magdalene, so I always do it with the group, and every time I do this course, and I have done it for years, I swear when it comes back round to me getting ready for the Call of the Magdalene the following year, I'm like, everything that I tuned into and healed happened in my path. Like, it does unveil your path. It does launch you into your new path cycle. And it does so in such a beautiful, subtle, gentle, soft way. And that you only really realize it at the end of the year, and you're like, oh, that all happened. And it's just so beautiful, and it's so sacred, and it's the feminine way really is the way of ceremony, and high ceremony. And so it is, I believe, really important for our feminine energies to honor that rebirth ceremonially, especially if you want to live your path potential and work with all of this new potential energy that the eclipse has brought in. Thank you for saying that, Carmen and Bonnie. And yeah, do go back to your journal, and it is life-changing. For an 8-day journey, it's so life-changing. The Wild Rose transmissions are going to be live at 4 p.m. But they will also be recorded, so you can listen in your own time. But 4 kind of felt right. I mean, if I gauge from the group that it's a really bad time, I might try and move it to make it work around the group. But that's what my intuition was saying. And so, yeah, it is so beautiful and powerful. And so those are starlight offerings for the sacred, beautiful month of July. If your heart will know which of those you are meant to be at, and you will also probably get signs. That's usually what happens with starlight. If you're really called to do something, you'll start seeing Magdalena or roses everywhere. But even if you're not resonating with starlight's things, I really recommend being ceremonial. Also spending time in nature. My guides are saying, don't rush to the path. Of course you can go to the things that are opening, but also remember to really connect to that goddess energy in nature in July, and to integrate lockdown. Otherwise Otherwise we will have to learn again, and that's what I feel. And so the more of us that integrate into the better. And amazing about the rose art you've been seeing. We would love to have you on the rose journey. And so what we are going to do now is the guides wanted to do a transmission to bring in the crowned feminine, and they said they were going to work at least in part with temple language. And so all you have to do, you don't have to understand temple language, you just have to receive it. I'd like to, since this is the feminine month, share one of my most favorite root words, which is the root meaning of receive. And I always thought that receive was a really passive thing, that you didn't really do anything. And then I heard the Latin meaning of the word receive, which means to seize over and over and over again. And it was like lightning for me. I was like, I actually have to receive a healing or a ceremony. I actually have to seize it into me. And I wish I'd known that years ago, because it would have saved me so much time and money in terms of healing myself. You know, you have to receive. And so I invite you to seize it in over and over again. I feel like, thank you for saying that, Robbie, I feel like we are on a huge crossroads at the moment, all of us. And it's like, either we start to open up to new ways of being that include the crown feminine, or we're going to cycle back round again. And my guides are saying that it really is about following your highest heart at this time, because we are kind of in a time of two hearts. And we have to let go. We have to grieve the old, and put more of our trust in the new than in the old at this time. And I hope that helps you in terms of the crossroads, if that makes sense. I think there will be a lot of clarity that comes after the storm, after the eclipse. I think it's very hard to see clearly, fully in the eclipse, because there's so much washing machine action going on. But just like after a storm, there is clarity in the air. It's almost like there will be clarity in ourselves. And suddenly the passage of the birth canal will be clearer as well. And so when you're ready, closing your eyes and breathing in love and breathing out gratitude, feeling Mary Magdalene activating a temple code ascension chamber around you now, filled with the ancient symbols of the crowned feminine. And as the medicine of the rose continues, to stream as light sound frequency through your energy body, helping you to softly open to this transmission. You are invited to sense or intuit the part of your emotional body or physical body that most needs to receive this ground feminine transmission. And for some of you it will be the lower back, because the ground feminine is about supportiveness. And for some of you it will be the heart, so that you can connect more clearly to the higher heart. And for some of you it will be the sexual life force energy. We say to you to only pick one, so that you can receive fully, knowing that you can repeat this and receive in other ways and places of yourself at another time. And know that you are here to embody the ground feminine energy into this part of yourself. And some of you have lived many lifetimes without this energy in your body due to the Piscean way of perceiving the feminine, that the ground feminine. It's most simply put as knowing the feminine ways are sacred harmonizations in the dance of feminine, masculine, and unity. And feeling yourself opening softly to receive the energy that is needed in the place that it is needed for you right now in this time of sacred ascension, and feeling yourself receiving for yourself, for your ancestral and lineage DNA in the collective consciousness, being moved out of this trust in the past so that you can trust, surrender into the future, and be more fully in the beauty that is happening now. Being in the flow of grief and celebration as one energy, and the flow of infinity and intimacy as one energy. Itrakarai mare tai antreko re natai alatrai oyotreaka imere tea lare ka vere taya ire yora yanatai ire ka yonotrei amrina tai alare natai ninatore atai ala treka vere no amre te karena Marea te Antayanara tare Itara ka mare Namahare Ilara tore kare Sere tore nai otea Lai vere tea ni Ire ka yono trema Hamure natai Pama leri Sula crea malakare ore tamyantai sea I credo seha lare amore tanka tantara itere lavare tana mare arikai tre taya. And as you feel the crowned feminine flowing softly into this part of yourself, and as you receive, allow yourself to be in a multi-sensory experience of this energy, opening up gently to the wisdom that the crowned feminine has for you. At this time of a new cycle, beginning and letting that wisdom be breathed through you upon your breath. Imore nata elare teana sangraya notre mare alare naraha treya ka treyana lovare ninta nina ramahaya nate lavlaya treya. As you hear Mary Magdalene singing an integration blessing song through you, and you feel the soft beauty of the rose frequency calming you as this feminine code chamber dissipates and the rose gold and violet flame come through your energy body, transmuting all energy that does not serve or belong into love and light. As you feel the spirit of the rose whisper a blessing of softness into your heart, and leave your energy And you feel Mary Magdalene blessing you and lifting the energy out of yours. You feel yourself sighing in to your sovereignty as the violet and rose fires of transmutation are replaced with a golden rain shower of light that pours through your energy, washing any energy that's meant to go to Gaia as an offering to the Great Mother. And as this energy is gifted to Gaia, feel the two-way flow that is the Aquarian way of Gaia, giving you more aliveness. As a big beam of source light comes in, taking any energy that's meant to go somewhere else as an offering to the stars. And feel a two-way flow of inspiration being gifted to you in return for this offering. As you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. And when you are ready, opening your eyes and coming into the room. And so I'm going to end by reading the embracing card. I would like to say that if Magic Month was helpful to you, then please do share the replay. I feel for people at this time that are not maybe aware of how much is going on astrologically and stuff like that. And so if you think it will help other people have an easier month and maybe soften rather than rush, please do share it. I've put clarity up again because that's the first one that is happening. And I'm going to close by reading the embracing card. Sometimes life overflows with emotions, which can feel uncomfortable. However, the ensuing result of this discomfort can be of great value, perhaps arising from an unseen or unknown source. You get this card when emotions are seemingly overflowing or not flowing at all. Cherish the overflow of emotions and embrace the times that seem murky, for your inner floodplains are being replenished. And as a result, there will be great spiritual and physical expansion. Embrace all your emotions. When you do so, greater prosperity and fertility will flow into your life. Alternatively, if your emotions have been blocked, this is the time to explore and experience them. Could you get a more feminine message? The cards never lie. I love you all. I hope that some of you are called to join us for the temple offerings in July. Magic Month will be back with Magic Month of August. And so much love and blessings and rebirth and light to you all. Sending our love and gratitude to Mary Magdalene, to the Rose, to all of love, light, matter, mystery, each other, all of Gaia, and all of the universe, and all of the beauty that is happening now.